Hi team, welcome to this episode of Business on the Move. Today we are joined by David Field of Dingo's Recruitment. David offers staff members into the removals and storage world, and he also gives a lot of good advice about the recruitment process. We're excited to dive into this conversation, so let's get into it.
When they really understand what this does, like with iMove, it'd be like such a no-brainer. You know, we really enjoy it. At the end of the day, it's a hard job, but it's very rewarding getting people work.
This industry, the day dictates us, so we can wake up and just have to put out fires until the end of the day.
Yeah. It's good to see that, and good to see new innovation. Otherwise, it's the same companies going around every year. And
it's going to be so much hard work to move systems.
Yeah.
And we can't believe how many people.
Oh, that's good. Boring business, and I love boring businesses.
Yeah.
I just want to stay boring.
You know, now I've met you, I'll use you tomorrow. Hi David, thanks for coming today, mate. Travelled from St Albans, which is only a couple of hours away, so nice journey. Thanks for coming. This is our brand new podcast setup. Hopefully you like it. First one in this room, isn't it, Rob?
Looking good, yeah, looking good. Thanks to the team at Warren's Removals for help building it.
Yeah. And we always start this podcast with a business question from Rob. So over to you, mate.
David, nice to meet you, mate. Welcome to the Removals Poddy. First business question is: we're in May 2025. How do you currently see the removals market being in the industry you are?
Yeah, we speak to a lot of removal companies every day. A lot of managers, ops managers, owner operators all around the country. What we are seeing though is that the peaks, there's like the real busy periods and the real quiet periods, are getting like intensifying. So they're really quiet or really busy, whereas sort of pre-pandemic and those kind of years, and even through the pandemic, was quite busy. But now it's sort of like these extremes. So quiet and then busy, like lots and lots of jobs on. So we can't really sort of work it out. It's kind of a bit stressful at times.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably to do with the stamp duty.
No, I don't. No, I've been in removals for 12 years. And I used to know the patterns. Yeah. I used to be able to see around the corner.
We could too.
Since COVID, I've not been able to see that. I don't think we've levelled out yet.
No. I know what you mean.
Okay. Yeah.
We did see a little spike around the March, April time.
But what I'm saying is, since COVID, they introduced the stamp duty.
Yeah.
And the stamp duty, like me personally, I moved house because of the stamp duty.
Exactly.
Because of the stamp duty holiday. And then they brought the stamp duty holiday back. So people were waiting for that. And now it's gone. It's kind of plateaued. Would you say it's plateaued after the last stamp duty?
Yes and no. I mean, I think a lot of people like you moved at that time, and they're just not moving now. But yeah, it dipped and now it's coming back up, and it's just really hard to kind of get that nice level that we all want.
Yeah.
It's just a constant problem, but it can turn really quickly as well. So suddenly we can have record days and record weeks. It's crazy.
I mean, the consensus in our WhatsApp group is that people are quiet at the minute. Don't you think?
Yeah, but you know what's strange is I went through my quiet patch, and people I was talking to were busy, and now it's flipped. So it's almost like where you're based as well. Yeah.
It's so weird, and I don't think there's a correlation to this at all, but we were saying this the other day, because we sort of mainly work just London and Scotland. And again, it wouldn't be surely there's not a connection to this, but when our London clients, not all of London, but when our London clients are quiet, our Scotland clients are busy. Okay, it's just so weird, like how that, I don't know. We're trying to find patterns in every way we can. And again, in London, like one side of London seems to be busy, the other one doesn't. And again, that's not reflective of all of London. It's just our general experience with our own clients.
Can I just ask, your Dingo Recruitment,
is
it literally just removals you supply?
Yeah, so we just all our temporary workers just work in removal companies.
Yeah, okay.
We don't do construction or anything else like warehousing or anything like that. We used to try back in the day, but now we just found our niche in removals, and we just like it. We like dealing with people like you guys all the time. We know it, and it is very niche, and it could be seen as a simple industry, but as you guys know, it's kind of complex. It's just constant problems and constant. It's not just like the physical heavy lifting; it's all the sort of emotional intelligence that you need when you're on the job and you're dealing with these customers of our clients, and you could be going through like death or divorce or downsizing for whatever reason. So we have lots to look for when we recruit. But it's an industry we just love, and I also find it to be quite a meritocracy. I don't know, it's sort of, if anyone can do it, and sometimes that gets a bad rap, like anyone can enter it, but still, why not let anyone have a crack at it, have a crack at running a business and doing a really good job? But it's hard work.
So just for the listeners, what is Dingo?
What is Dingo Recruitment?
Dingo Recruitment.
Yeah, so it's basically we supply staff, like removal workers, called dingoes, to removal companies whenever they need it. So you've got your own staff. You might have 10 of your own permanent staff. You might have a few, stragglers as well.
Okay,
but if you need, say, 15, 16, 20 people, you can call us and you can have 3 or 4 guys the next day.
So you got a big pool.
A big pool in London and a big pool in Scotland.
Okay, cool.
We'd love to work in a couple of other areas, but London and Scotland is where it is. And the good thing is, like, yes, our guys work in lots of different companies, and they might be working with a big company Monday, another company Tuesday, and they'll be working with you just Wednesday. But they've got that sort of, they're all kind of match fit every day because they're just doing removals. They're not working in another random job site or workplace. They're just staying in removals.
I like that, match fit. I like that. And you call them dingoes, yeah?
Yeah, all our work's cool. So when clients ring up, say, can I have 3 dingoes on Tuesday and 4 dingoes on Saturday? And this is how we
is that the lingo you use?
Yeah.
So what is a dingo? What does it mean? What's the meaning of a dingo?
Oh, it's an
hard worker?
native Australian animal. Is sort of what we used to set up, because when we started, it was just sort of to kind of connect Australians in London to jobs that they could do and then go off and travel.
Okay, cool.
Because as you know, removals isn't you don't have to do it Monday to Friday. A job might just last for a day or two, and that suits them, it suits us, and we just wanted to kind of stand out or be known to that community. And we did that for many years. It was really good. We still do it. We still have Aussies and Kiwis come over, but yeah, when the pandemic happened, it bloody threw a real spanner in the works with that. Because the Australian government's they're pretty strict with their migration anyway, but you throw in a global kind of disease and then they're just going to...
Yeah,
they shut the gates
during COVID,
and they just gave everyone overseas an ultimatum. You have to be home in like a week or 2 weeks or whatever it was. Otherwise you are locked out, and people were locked out. So overnight we lost 60% of our workforce. And then this government here said, oh, and by the way, you can't really move. Removal firms in the UK can't move, can't go in. So we were like, what the bloody hell do we do now? Yeah. So that was hard.
Of course, yeah.
So you pivoted, right? Yeah, and that's what you do.
Yeah, we just sort of said, let's just hold off. Let's try not to panic. Let's have a bit of a break for however long it was. And we just exclusively recruited Australians back in the very early days. And then we just decided that there's so many great people, local people on the job market right now because of the furlough and just whatever, because of the pandemic. And they just naturally kind of gravitated towards us.
Okay.
And then, as you said earlier, like the stamp duty came in, and then bang, like everyone in this country wanted to move. Every removal company was contacting us. And we had all these sort of people that are no longer in employment working with us, and it was just, our business just developed really quickly. And it was wonderful. It was a wonderful time to be in business, and it's
at the start of it was terrifying.
It was terrifying, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was just weird. There's no work, and we had every work was calling us, what's happening, and we sort of, even removal firms are saying, what do you think is going to happen? And it's like, I don't know. Yeah. Like in the end, I just said, I don't know. So. But it was good. Our whole business changed after that, and it's changed for the better. But it was tough times.
So you're the director, the director. So did you come over from Australia, then go straight into recruitment?
No, I didn't. I came over, 16 years ago, and I first sort of 6 months worked in a pub, which is a really cool pub in Marylebone called Windsor Castle, Old Marylebone Road. It's really fun, run by this like real old Irish couple, and then they had some really eclectic characters in there. And then I qualified as a social worker in Australia, and I did that for the next 7 years, working around London with kids and as a social worker. And that was a great job. It was real hard.
Yeah, it's hard work, isn't it? That, but very rewarding, but hard work.
It was rewarding, and it was hard, but it's sort of same problems, just constant. And I think what I was learning also is that a lot of the problems that, families can have, it's always stemmed from a lack of money, which is, sad, and it's, nothing sort of new there. But, the alcohol and, sometimes violence and drug use, it always stemmed with people being out of work for a long period of time. But I did that for 7 years and enjoyed it, but ended up getting entirely burnt out from that.
Yeah,
so,
mentally, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought, okay, so I burnt out and I had a few months off. Sort of 7 years later, I worked at a few different places, and then I was involved with the Australian Football League over here, like Australian playing Aussie rules football. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard about Aussie rules. Yeah, it's like football and rugby mixed together, isn't it? Yeah.
So it was a great place for me. It was just a lot of fun to meet friends and met a lot of people doing that. But I had a club I was involved with, and I was kind of always sort of getting them work. Yeah. Because that was is obviously all voluntary, but it was very competitive in the little circle. So one way of luring players into your club was to help them out with this or that. And I found that getting people work, that was like, we'll come to you. If you can get us work, we'll come to you, as opposed to all the bigger clubs. Yeah. And that was kind of how I honed the skill of recruiting in the end. But I didn't realise I was doing it because I just wanted more players at our club. And that's how I sort of did it. And then, as I said, I had those few months off from that career, and then I actually went in to start a recruitment company for social workers. But my God, the red tape to do that was so difficult.
Oh, I could imagine, yeah.
It was and they've got all these like third-party vendors that you have to go to then recruit to the local authority. And I was like, I just want to speak to people directly. Yeah. And that was hard. So I did this business networking. I don't know if you've ever done that at all. Like
a little bit, yeah. I'm not a great business networker, really.
Yeah. I did that, and
like sat BMI chats and stuff.
It is, yeah. I did that. I actually really liked it, but I did that for 3 years. But my first meeting, I sat next to this guy, and he said, "Oh, what do you do?" I said, "Oh, I'm trying to recruit social workers," and he said, "Oh, I don't need any social workers, but I run a removal company." And he said, "Oh, I really could do with like 3 people tomorrow or the next day." And I said, "I could get you like 30 if you wanted." Because they just want sort of young, able-bodied people who are kind of honest and who'll just show up and that and you trust. And I said, I can do that. And then that is how it started.
Really? And is this company still on your books?
It is, yeah.
What's the company called?
They're called Cavendish and Country.
Cavendish, I know them,
So a guy called Nick, I don't know if you met him, but he got me started. He's a great guy. Yeah. And we worked with him a lot back in the day as well. Nice. And he's still plugging along, and then I'd sit next to him every week, and he'd tell me about it, and he'd tell me about our guys as well. Oh, yeah, so and so showed up, and he was good, and he was not so good. I'm like, why? But then it was funny because like we had another company. We ended up becoming neighbours with them in our office there. So one day we had a guy who was meant to be there on a Saturday with them, and this is very early on, and he didn't show up, and the guy was calling me, and he was like screaming, yelling at me, saying, "Where is he?" Blah blah blah, and then I just decided, they're a brand new client. We've only got 3 or 4 clients. I'm just going to go in and work the job myself. And it was so insightful, because it was a 2-person job, and our guy was a second person. But I realised it's not like a bar job in removals. Like if you got 6 people working behind a bar, and then one of them doesn't show up, the bar can still go. But if in removals, good luck trying to lift a sofa. Yeah, of course. With one person. Yeah. So that was quite cool. Yeah. And then we started doing it jobs, attending jobs ourselves, like just to kind of keep abreast with what's happening.
Amazing. You still on the vans now, or
we do them less now, but we always would just go out once a month or once every couple of months, just sit on them, and you learn. Oh my God, you learn so much.
It's good. Yeah.
Just so many. Like I take my hat off to anyone that runs a removal company. Like we're not a removal company, but there's so many problems that happen on a shift. Like if the lift doesn't work, or you can't park, or you name it. Like in every job we went on, I'm like another new problem.
Yeah.
Do you find that?
Yeah, every day. I always say, these people on Instagram that like, you got to dictate your day. You do not, those kind of people. This industry, the day dictates us. Yeah. So we can wake up and just have to put out fires until the end of the day. Yeah. So the day takes us where it wants to go.
Absolutely. And I get a sense of why some owner operators, managers or whatever, or whoever, they can be stressed because they hear it from their customer, and I was seeing mistakes our workers would make. I was making mistakes.
I just come in because we filmed a bit of the YouTube video, one of us YouTube video yesterday, and I come in and we're supposed to be finishing this room off, and like George, this room was half done because one of your men had a flat tire, and George had to go and Luke had to go, so no one was finishing this, and that was just like a day in the life, I suppose, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a tame day that was as well. It's just a flat tire, perfect.
Just a flat tire. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that flat tire.
Yeah.
So do you ever like say if you've got no men left, do you ever muck in? Oh, I better go then because you've got experience.
I've done it a few times. We never seem to have a shortage of guys, but no, I do it now because. As I said, and sometimes it just, as I said, that first move I did, that was with Clapham Removals. They're still one of our clients. And Adam's still there and he still yells at us. But no, he's a really good guy. But
what's that company called?
Clapham Removals.
Clapham.
Yeah, they're good. They're a good company.
Are they?
I really like them. But that job I did, it was so much fun.
Was it?
There was this I remember there was this Italian lady. She was moving a really nice flat in Chelsea around Chelsea as well, so it wasn't too far. But when I got there, because our guy didn't show up and he was meant to be there like 8, so I rocked up at like 9:30 or whatever it was. But she was real stressed. She was sitting there and she was just panicked, and it's a big thing for them to move.
It is, yeah.
But then in the end, she was great, and it was a really fun day. It was a beautiful sunny day in London, I remember, and she was so happy at the end because she bought her own flat for the first time, and she really trusts us. But removals can be real fun.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, did you charge for your time that day, or did you just take it on the chin?
I said, I copped it on the chin. I don't always do that, but I said, Adam, I'll come in and I'll work for you all day for free. And that just shut him up there and then.
Amazing.
Because he was screaming. I was lying in bed and he was just yelling and yelling. And then I said, I'll come in and then bang. And I also learned that's also a really good way of when you have messed up. I could have easily just blamed the guy. It's his fault. I've tried to ring in. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
No. But when we just accept it's our fault, because at the end of the day, Adam wasn't paying us. Adam wasn't paying the worker. He was paying us.
Yeah.
So, and then when things go wrong, we just own it now. It's just easier because it disarms the person who's criticising you. They can't.
Always,
if you say that is our fault, we'll fix it. They can't keep yelling at you.
Yeah.
I'm a great believer in it's always my fault. If you've started a business, then it's your fault. I mean, you've got to figure out a way to make that not happen consistently. Things will happen, but you've got to try and not make it happen again. You know what I mean? People who blame other people, you've always got to take responsibility. Yeah? And it's good because I bet you get that like quite a lot, because we've got a few mates in recruitment, and I've done a few videos for them, and when I'm there, they're always like chasing to employ people. Someone's not turned up.
So it's not just us then.
Yeah, he's not turned up, so he's getting them, and then he's trying to find another person, and it is a hustle. It's a real hustle.
But with that now, we just always have replacements. So if it does happen, and it doesn't happen that often anymore, it really doesn't. Like the way we recruit and what we look for, but. If it doesn't happen, someone's meeting would say, okay, sorry, he's not there. We've got a replacement. He will be with you. And he'll be there a bit later, but we'll solve that problem.
Is it one shot out? So if somebody doesn't turn up, are they done?
If they don't turn up and we can't get in touch with them, we just sack them straight away.
Gone,
But if they turn up and they always give the excuse, again, it doesn't happen. Back in the day, it happened all the time. But what we do now is we call them anomaly calls. So the day before the shift, everyone gets a phone call. And we don't just say, are you going to show up or whatever. We just say, what could stop you getting there tomorrow? So they can't say, I forgot it was my whatever. We even say things like, make a joke, are you going to get food poisoning? Are you going to not charge your phone so your alarm comes up? We just take off all their excuses for them, and it just doesn't happen.
That's great. That's a great problem solving.
We do that around the 1 o'clock mark.
Okay,
so
that's perfect.
Just say they say, we can't make it. We can get that replacement there.
What happens if somebody doesn't answer their phone? Are you panicking?
What, the day before?
The day before. Yeah.
Oh no, we'll just keep trying them.
Just keep trying.
Keep trying. We've got we also have automated text messages.
I was going to say you could automate that. Yeah,
we've got that. So can we get that? They get that at 24 hours before their shift.
Yeah. Okay.
You have a shift tomorrow, so at Warren's Removals at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And then they can either reply to that saying yes, but we'll still give them a call anyway. So.
You got it systemised then.
I love a bit of automation. I'm obsessed because obviously I move. I'm obsessed with a bit of automation at the minute.
Oh, we love it. And Dan, who works with me, he's been with us for 6 years, and he's the brains behind the automation. But because he's often been on the coalface receiving those calls as well, he's sort of, our scheduling system has changed dramatically in the last few years.
It's got to be one of the most stressful industries, only because we've got good friends and we see how hard it is.
Yeah.
You know, and the phones are constantly blowing up.
It's stressful when you're dealing with the problems, but if you can prevent the problems, it's just it's actually so easy and so rewarding.
They were a startup. It was a startup as well, so they probably ain't got the systems and processes.
It's good that you're a niche as well. You know, you probably got a good company culture.
Yeah, we try to. We don't sort of tend to like. Back in the day, it's very easy for us to pass down all the criticism to the worker. Like if someone said, "Oh, I don't like this guy," or did this, or that we try not to pass that back down because usually sometimes just a personality thing, or he might not be as experienced, but we don't just chastise them for no reason. But we've got a good relationship with them now, and in our clients, some of them have been with us for since day one, 7-8 years. So they're good people, and so the arguments have kind of slowed down over the years.
So you got long term staff, and then you have temp staff.
Oh no, I'm talking about the clients.
Client,
like the removal firms and stuff. But our workers, some of them are with us a couple of years.
Okay, yeah, cool.
But yeah.
Nice.
So do you do long term and then temp, or did you do temp first and then they might be long term?
No, it's mainly just temp. Companies come to us, and we encourage them, just come to us just when you need it, and when you don't need workers, just don't come to us, because we've got so many companies now. And the same with the workers. We don't encourage them. We discourage them to work 5 days a week with us. We want to keep them fresh. We want to keep them, I think the average day is like they do 2 or 3 shifts, but everyone's availability is scattered all over the place. Like so-and-so will be available Monday, Tuesday, he's available Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah. And as the job's coming, because your jobs, I know you tell me, like how long does a job usually last for, like with you? Like a couple of days, 1 day, 3 days?
Yeah, it really depends. Generally, it's a 1 day move. If they have a pack, obviously it's a 2 day move. If it's long distance, it might be 3 or 4.
So we'd ask you what kind of job it is, a 2 day job, and just say you need someone. We'd try and keep the same guy on for the 2 days.
Yeah.
And then he might be unavailable the next, few days, and that's perfect. Perfect for you, perfect for him, perfect for us. Another company who want people Wednesday, we'll get the guys who are available Wednesday. So it works like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, say if I'm just asking these kind of business related questions as far as like the staff you're supplying. If I used you and then at the end of the day, because you've probably got a few stresses throughout the day, haven't you? The first one is if they've turned up.
Yeah.
And then the end of the day is he was crap.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What happens on the he was crap phone call?
Yeah, well, what we sort of like a few things, like we ask what it is, but we have we rank our dingoes like gold, silver, bronze.
Okay.
So if you have a particularly high end job, and there is packing and there's heavy furniture, delicate items, whatever, you might want to book a gold dingo, because those ones are tried and tested.
Brilliant. That's really
and the bronze
good.
ones, because sometimes your job is just running stairs up and down, and there's not so much expensive items or complexity. Just book a bronze dingo and you pay a lot less.
Yeah, okay.
And that's how we do it.
Yeah.
So for it to be crap, we would probably, if you said it's a really high end, we wouldn't give you a bronze dingo. We'd give you a gold.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. So, but sometimes, it's usually about uniform. Like they wore the wrong socks, like white socks, which is, or they, because they can always wear your shirts and stuff, or they're on their phone a bit and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course,
but I think sometimes, or he had his hands in his pocket, and their foreman said, he rang us, he said he's got his hands in his pocket. But sometimes they're sort of lesser experienced. They just don't always know exactly how to maneuver themselves around the jobs, and that takes time.
I love the tier system that you've got there.
Yeah.
I really like that.
So some people only want to book golds, and some companies only want to book bronzes. But we give them the option. And some guys are just very good at it, and some guys, they want to be good at it, but they've only been around for a few weeks.
Of course, It's good to categorise them, and then
So the gold soldiers we do.
The gold dingoes premium. And then the price wise,
exactly. It scales down. Gold is the most expensive, then silver is lesser expensive than bronze.
Big up to the gold dingoes out there.
So and they get paid more as well. They get paid because it's more incentive for them to become a silver or a gold.
So what's the screening? Sorry, we've got so many questions. What's the screening process you go through? How do you recruit?
Lots of different ways. We recruit over sort of video calls, phone calls. Depending where they are, we can meet them in person as well. We have like sort of team calls as well, where we can just have a call with all the sort of half the crew or a quarter of the crew, just say these are the problems that have been happening. We outsource all our right to work checks to a company called Credus. Not sure if you know it. So that's a big thing sort of that we focus on, is compliance and make sure that they're right to work checked. We don't got the national insurance numbers and all that kind of thing. That's really important to us because we have a few international people working for us. But yeah, Credus is a very good company in that respect. They do really stringent right to work checks. So, and then they've signed a contract with us. Signed it. All of our workers are on 0 hour contracts.
Yeah.
I think for some reason, like 0 hour contracts, they have a bit of a bad rap. But from our workers, they love it.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to work 5 days a week.
No, yeah.
We discourage them from working they've got so many other things on. Some are music teachers on the side, some are students, some they just want to kind of have a few days to themselves.
Yeah. So it's like flexible working,
it is.
In a way, yeah.
And then they don't get burnt out because doing removals 5 days a week. Some people do it, good on them, but it can be really hard, and it can just.
So I'd like you to explain. If I was to use you, what is the benefit to me? How is the benefit, from employment?
Yeah.
If I was to employ a full-time contracted staff, rather than using you, which would obviously be a good choice if I didn't want to pay the holiday and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly that. Like as I was saying earlier, like there is peaks and troughs, and I feel like it just seems to me that they're becoming more and more intense. And those intense lows, I think it's hard to keep permanent staff there. I'm not sort of. Everyone wants a permanent job, but like you only have to use us when you're busy. And just say you get really busy. Some of our clients have been with us for years. They know now that they never have to say no to jobs when they come through. I think that having the jobs come through, that's the most important thing. And it must be hard. I don't know, you tell me, it must be heartbreaking. I've got to move, I've got no guys, or I just can't do it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And to say no, but the benefit of using us is you can tend to say yes to jobs more.
Yeah.
We've just built our new sort of scheduling system after a long period of time, and you have your own portal now, your own client portal with us. And if you've had people in the past, you can favourite them, and you can now see. And this is just coming out in these next few weeks. So rather than the guys telling us when they're available, they come up on your portal, so you can just see, oh, so and so's available, and you can just book them like that. So we all see that, like our company sees it, in the back end kind of thing. We know what's happening, but you just put the job details in, the time, you send it to him, and he'll get it, and he'll go accept, and that's done. And you can actually see who you want to book.
So good.
Yeah, but we've made that just for removals. The removal sector, there's no off the shelf.
You're minimising admin time as well, though, aren't you? Making calls, making sure
I can see a potential API integration here.
That'd be
if
cool.
I move, that'd be cool.
What you guys have got is incredible. That's why I came over and spoke to you. Like it's just, I've had so many companies complain to us over the years about the CRMs they use. I'm not just saying this, but this is so. Everything, I was going through all the different services. It looks incredible what you guys have got.
People are enjoying it, and people are enjoying it, and the community we're building, and we just keep growing. We feel like we're just getting started as well with all the features and automations. We've only just touched the water with automations on Ironwood at the minute compared to what you can do. And
why do you think that something like this hasn't been available? Like I know the other ones, and they just, in my view, they're just a little bit outdated, or maybe a lot outdated compared to what this. Why do you think something like this hasn't been around?
I think they are around, but they're predominantly in America. There's a few in the UK. But it's all to do with time frames, really, when it was built, what it was built on. Software's moved on really, really quickly, and it will develop even quicker now with AI and stuff. So we're just a modern software with a cloud service, which means you can use it anywhere on any device. Some softwares you can't do that. You know what I mean?
And it's just like the integration with the newer software stacks, whereas the older kind of from the database era, when you can't we've got the internet now. You know what I mean? Everything you can link link anything to anything if it's online. And the older softwares, unless they're a web app, they can't They can't do that. And that's all it was. And it's just good timing. And it's not cheap. It's not cheap to build the software.
No, I can imagine.
So
building it bespoke to removals as well.
The more you spend, the better it's gonna get. And with Warren's experience and our clients' experience that give us feature requests, we just keep building it. I suppose it's the same with you and staff. Like people give you feedback, and then you listen to that feedback and make the staff better and train them in certain ways. And we do the same with iMove, that they give us feedback and we make the product better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's exactly
absolutely. Like I think it was October, it was such a stressful month in October. We just hired a new member of staff and, in August I just had a baby and I was exhausted. October, Dan was off for a month and a couple of other staff were off for ages, and we had this new person and they came in and they were just trying to get them to schedule properly, give the right workers to the right companies and the attention to detail and all that, putting the addresses and the times in correctly. It was so bad. They just everything went wrong. And based on that experience, that's why we've built this new system where companies can now book directly, see directly, choose directly. Sometimes you just need a person to come in, smash up the place or just to kind of see what doesn't work to then actually launch us forward. We're so much better now as a result of that experience.
How many staff do you have?
There's about five of us, 6 of us now.
And how many workers have we got out today?
Today, today's about 28, I think.
Is it really?
Yeah. So we're not a massive company.
That's great.
But we've got a pool of about 60, 70.
Have we?
I think it's about 27, 28 today, and that fluctuates. Fridays are usually pretty busy. It's a good, we just would love it if everyone could just book every day consistently, but it's never like that. So, but 28 guys today.
So do you have different, the gold, silver and bronze? Do you have team leaders, or you wouldn't probably do a team leader, would you? Because he'd have to be with the company for a while.
Yeah, exactly. So, but at the same time, some companies just give, say, maybe 3 of our guys, and they outsource the whole job to us. Okay, yeah. So driver, 2 porters. So they don't actually call them team leaders, neither do we. But someone has to take the team, take the lead. So,
I mean, it's a great backup for removal companies. And if you're when the busy periods start. And instead of looking for a recruitment drive, you just contact yourselves, and then you've got 60, 70 people who know about the industry. Just right there.
Yeah. So one guy, one of our old clients, he's in his 60s, and he used to be an estate agent in sort of Hampstead area for years, and for some reason, in his 50s, he decided to start a removal firm, and he just he bought a couple of Ludens, and all of his staff are just us every job he gets, and he just picks off these 10, 15 grand jobs because he's got such a great network of being a high-end estate agent, and he's just having a really good time. He's on the job himself for some reason, but it can work well for some people.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. I'm just thinking now as you're talking, over the last 5 weeks, we've had 3 quiet weeks at Warren's, and this is a big business now. And on one of the weeks, we were bringing in £3,000, but we were spending 10, and that's because I've got all of these employed staff. We made a 7 grand loss in 1 week.
Well, this is the thing, and our companies, and we say we don't hound them. We don't say, give us guys, can you give us some job? We don't do that. Just contact us when you're busy. If we don't hear from you for 3 months, who cares? And we've got just enough clients now to keep us all active. We're always looking for more, but. Look, it'd be hard to pay people when they're not working. It'd be real hard, and I know you're doing the right thing by your staff, and all companies do in all industries, trying to keep people on. But I just think the world's changing a little bit in regards to that. I go back to what I was saying about the workers. I just don't think a lot of people want to work 5 days. And maybe
isn't that just the Australians?
Probably, yeah.
Because you go to Australia, and they are big, and they are not working, the Australians.
Yeah. I mean, it's not working, but it's just these guys, they want to work. They don't want to work 5 days in a row, and maybe I don't know. I think they've got these job apps now that they can just swipe and just get a job in bloody 5 minutes, here, there, or everywhere. They've got other hobbies, other interests. I don't know,
it's a really good business model that you've got. Have you found since COVID and all that situation? Have you found Australians moving back?
Not
Not
as
really,
much.
no.
And we lost our momentum with that. Like I'd like to say it's all Australians again. It's not. And I don't know, like in my personal view, I can't sort of say this categorically. I just find the Australians moving back now, they're just a different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
Like they're just not the old school sort of weird, like a lot of sort of tradespeople coming over always contact us. Now it's, I don't know, they just seem to be even less willing to work and not wanting to work in these kind of jobs.
Okay,
they're kind of wanting to be like all sorts of, I don't know, they just seem to come over with a lot more money, disposable income, where they don't need to work. They sort of just want to dip in, and we want people who need to work. You need to rely on us.
I think something to do with that is online because you can earn money from online now, and if you're traveling,
they're doing that.
And if you're traveling, you can just take your laptop. Whereas back in the day, you was picking strawberries.
I think it's changed. I don't know if it'll, again, we have lost our momentum with it. We had a perfect, like we had people lining up out of our office one day, but now we've got a different market altogether, which we love. Local people, it's cool. But yeah, it's different. It's different.
The cost of living in the tax system in Australia is outrageous, isn't it? So would you say that the Australians moved to the UK because it was cheaper to live here?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say they move here because of the close proximity to Europe.
Okay.
And just a different experience, you know. And that's our demographic. We employ sort of 18 to 30-year-olds. Maybe beyond that, people might move for different reasons. But sort of I think it's a 3-year working visa now they have. They don't really come for, in my view, a lot of them don't come for sort of economic reasons. They come for 3 years. They just want to work and want to travel. But the ones coming over now, it's a strange feel to them. It's a bit, I don't know, a bit disappointing, but hopefully it'll change soon.
So out of your 60, 70, how many are Australian?
It's about 12 guys, 12, 13.
Do you get a lot of students come in when you do in temporary staff? Do you get a lot of students or? Yeah.
But we're not actively recruiting at the minute. We found our level. But I've got 3 or 4 guys that have worked for me for 4 years now, and we found them as a student, and then they've just stuck. But the first guy that came in brought his mates. Do you know what I mean? So in that aspect, definitely. But they're like private school. They're really well educated. They're presentable. They're like real good guys to have. So I recommend, like, whenever they recommend a friend, I know that they're going to be alike. So it's good for us.
And it's just good. You got to filter out the not so good ones because they'll end up bringing not so good people. That's why we've got to be a good gatekeeper. But it sounds like you know exactly what you're doing.
Do you get a lot of that? So you give these companies staff, and the staff gets taken on by the removal company?
Yeah,
do you see that a lot?
All the time. They say, look, we'll just offer him a job, and
okay,
we'll
that's
do
good.
that.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Is that a bit of a sore subject, that, or not?
No,
really?
They just pay a small fee
for
that to pay him out, and that's fine.
Just a 12 years salary.
No, they do that, and we never get in the way if people want to be with each other in that respect. Like, go for it, enjoy yourself, enjoy your life. We've always got plenty of guys.
What would your fluctuation be like? You know, so when you go through these real dead months, how many of your staff would just drop off and find a job elsewhere? Yeah,
it happens, but it annoys my colleagues a lot because I've always been massive. Even in the real quiet periods, like January in the winter, we still recruit hard. We've always got that flow, and because even if we recruit people, we can't find them work for however long, they're still there, and we can call them. You know, you're still around, but we recruit 12 months a year. They go. Some of the other guys go, but they come back. They always come. Our guys always seem to float back, so we don't try and drag them in all the time. There's always people available for us, which is great because we just recruit 12 months a year, even though we know we can't give them work, and that can be hard sometimes, but we just got to do it.
So, what's your tactics in recruitment? What's your tactics? How do you recruit?
Are
you marketing? Are you putting it out there? Are you Indeed?
We're in all those kind of places. Oh God, there's so many different ways. Like we tend, to not recruit people with experience as much as with removals experience, and that can be sort of hard to kind of explain to companies sometimes. But our main thing we look for is honesty, and we've got sort of our ways of kind of sussing out how honest people are with our conversations and videos we do with them and that kind of thing. Because if you're an honest person and then you're reasonably good communicator, everything else can just fall.
Yeah.
You know,
we was having this conversation yesterday. Actually,
that's the first and foremost. If you're honest, like in this job, especially in this job, you're going to people's homes and if there's a fine line as well. Like, we don't want people that are over friendly and because when you're in front of your customer, you're being over friendly as opposed to just friendly, asking, do you want to tell them your life story and all that kind of thing. And we've got a whole suite of training videos that we've put together over the years on how to wrap intricate items and heavy furniture. We've got a whole suite of videos on customer service and which they go through that as well before they start. Cool, so they all sort of have some element of training.
Experience,
That's really good.
They took ages to get those videos and they're very expensive to do. But once you got them, it's like these podcasts. You got them for life, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. When you said earlier that you might want to venture into different areas, are you looking to grow the business in that way, or are you happy with where you are?
Yeah, Birmingham and Manchester. We've never been able to crack those areas for some reason.
Have you tried?
We tried it to a certain extent. I think, not really hard. It feels like we've just spent bloody 8 years just fine tuning our own processes, and I just get buried into that. And then we've had some terrific salespeople over the years who've worked with us, but I find actually getting good salespeople pretty hard. I must admit, I hate to admit it. We had a really good guy a few years ago who was with us through the pandemic, and he just brought on these companies. But I think good salespeople, they're exactly that. They can sell themselves into other jobs. Yeah. So we find it hard recruiting good salespeople to stay, and it can be I don't know if it's I think maybe they just want flashier jobs than what we've got, kind of thing. So
well, with a sales role, you're always getting cherry picked, aren't you? Like if you come to me, you get a company car, you get a laptop, and then all of a sudden they just fluctuate from each job.
And then I genuinely believe you need to know a lot about removals to sell us. And the guy who worked with us, his sale is a Kiwi guy. He worked in removals with us for about a year. He knew the guys, he knew the companies, and he just loved selling it because he had a great experience. And he was with us for a couple of years and he really got us going. But to find good salespeople, it's a tough one.
Yeah. Well, what's your company structure then? So you got director. How do you structure it?
We've got Dan, who's been 6 years. He's sort of like our, I guess, general manager, but he's mainly sort of the tech operation, putting all the tech in, and that is just constant for him. They got my partner Alice, who works in the business as well. She sort of we do recruitment for permanent staff, but in self-storage. Yeah. And she just does that. She just sticks with that. Then we got Catherine and a couple of other part-timers. So they're sort of sales as well, but they're sort of part-time sales to keep things ticking over. And they do like recruitment resourcing as well, and just, scouring people kind of thing. But it's a nice little team.
What about social media strategies? Are you big on social media? Do you put yourself out there? No?
I'm not great with that, and we never have been. I don't know. Doing things like this, I've never really been. I like the face-to-face networking with marketing, but like social media, we've never been great at it. It's something we need to improve on.
I had a little fact the other day that 50% companies on average the people who use social media regularly get 50% more leads a year.
Yeah, I bet.
But you have to pay for like social media. Yeah. You know what I mean? I suppose for the content and stuff like that.
We could help there, couldn't we, Rob?
I could actually.
You do that,
but now we're just releasing a social planner. Into the software, so you can integrate your social media platforms. You can create one post, spend one day, create one post, and you can plan it for the year or for the next 30 days. And obviously, with my background, I've looked after social media for other companies, big, large companies, businesses. And so we're bringing it, kind of amalgamating it together.
That solves a big problem for a lot of people.
Yeah, so we're going to release that next month.
Yeah, so by the time this podcast is out, it'll be already out, won't it?
Yeah, it'll be already out. Yeah, so social media planner. Looking forward to that one. It's like a new fun project, and I'm really great believer in social media and putting yourself out there. It's done wonders for yourself, innit, Warren?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, mate,
yeah. Phil Foden would never know you.
He wouldn't. He wouldn't. It's true, isn't it?
If you
moved Phil.
Did you?
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah,
he's a gun.
He moved in a couple of months ago, didn't you? A few months back.
Moved in twice. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What's he like?
Lovely. Yeah. He's a keen fisherman.
Is he?
Yeah. He bought his new house that he bought. He only bought it because it had a lake attached.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he actually bought it off a famous YouTube fisherman.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No way, is that how it
Yeah,
sounds, was it?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I think they were chatting or something. I'm not sure. I could be completely wrong here, but yeah, the guy who owned the house before had this amazing lake because he was a YouTube fisherman with millions of followers.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
He'll be loving that then, won't he? Yeah, what a house to buy.
Yeah.
I bet his missus love that.
Yeah.
How did he come to you?
Do you follow football?
Not really. Nah.
There's a guy called Morgan Gibbs. He plays for Nottingham Forest. He's been heavily linked to Manchester City.
Yeah.
They're best mates. So we moved Morgan a couple of years ago. They're best mates, and Morgan recommended us to Phil.
That's cool.
Yeah. Normally we wouldn't get a look in with this kind of stuff because it's all done with PAs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a personal recommendation from his best mate, so that's what got us involved.
That's incredible. Hopefully that rolls on to more.
You've done a few.
You've done
Arsenal player. You've done a few. He's done a few now. So you've done a few, haven't you, footballers?
I've done quite a lot.
And obviously the wags speak, so it's obviously word of mouth gets around. Like in the summer, you kind of obviously the transfer window. It's like I
love a transfer window.
It's good. It's good. So we do interesting quote or fact.
Yeah,
looking for that. For our new subscribers, this part of the episode we just do an interesting, more fact really, don't we?
Yeah.
Like a business fact that we made up. You don't have to do one yourself because we ain't give the heads up, which we need to start doing.
Yeah, I'll let you guys do it. Yeah.
So, or you can give us a fact about how many people you recruited last year, maybe.
I've got
What yours was? We'll let Waz go first. What's your interesting?
My interesting business fact. I made it relatable to Australia.
Okay.
And mine is about technology, so it's relatable to iMove as well. An Australian student started Canva. You know the app Canva?
Yeah. It's a massive company.
Yeah.
How much has it just been valued at?
I would say 10 bill.
What about you?
10 bill. Oof, how much have it valued at?
Canva's massive.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even use it and I pay for it. You know what I mean? I don't even use it and I pay for it, yeah. So that being said, I'll go 5 billion.
25 billion.
Oh, is it? Wow.
That's how much it has just been valued
Yeah,
at.
it's
25
huge.
billion.
Created in Australia.
And you know what? Because obviously I use Photoshop quite a lot. And when I first started using it, I thought, there's got to be something simple. They have their own like terminology, and they've got to be something simpler than this. And then I think when Canva come out, it's just like drag and drop. I'm thinking, obvious, so obvious, so easy, so obvious. And there's a few of them out there now. And I normally use Figma for like graphic design and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Canva is a great tool. Good fact, know that.
Have you heard of a thing called Loom?
Loom,
we use Loom, the videos.
Do you use that for your when you do demos? I was going to suggest to you because otherwise you sort of if you can do that screen recording and you can have your little face on there. We just started like you can have your face talking about going through a screen recording.
Yeah, I take my face away. I do.
Yeah?
It's round, isn't it?
It's
and I've
round.
got such a long head, so I'm poking.
You don't fit.
Because it adds that personal touch. They can see your face, hear your voice. But otherwise, you're doing these demos, you're explaining things for ages. Because you guys are going to get massive, and if you get hundreds of demos a day or whatever,
You reckon?
Wow. If you guys, I think you guys should go to America with this. I'd love that over there.
Yeah. It's internet, isn't it? We can go literally anywhere.
They just love their removals over there.
Yeah, they love it. They've got a few YouTubers and stuff.
Louis Massaro. You should. Yeah. He's just so optimistic about the industry, and he just loves it. I think you should get him on a podcast.
Yeah, we're going to try.
So is he a big YouTuber in America?
He ran a company over there, American guy, and he sold it, and now he's obsessed with like business coaching, but and he's obsessed with like processes in business.
Okay.
And like have a process so your staff don't have to keep asking you; they can just follow that process, and then that's how you scale. Because then you get dragged out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I nearly knocked your thing over. But he's just, I like him because he's so, as I said, he's optimistic about it. He's not like downtrodden, or he's not blaming all the factors of the economy about, slow, turn downs in movers and in the removal sector. So he's quality, he's fun. He would love this because he probably doesn't have a link into the UK, I would say. I
tag him, if you know his YouTube channel, tag him in the comments.
I will. He's a gun. He's a cool dude. So I'd love to get him at the Movers and Storage show.
Yeah.
I reckon he would. They're really good people that run that show, aren't they?
They are. They are actually. I speak to them. They don't really know who he was last year.
They're really nice. I think they're the good guys of the removal sector in this country.
And I don't think they promote it enough.
No,
I said to the guy, I said we do more promotion for their on our social media for their store show than
they're just lovely. Richard and Jan and all that. They're just wicked people in a good way.
Yeah,
and that's how we
met you.
That's how we met.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it was good. It's good to see you then. Good to see new innovation. Otherwise, it's the same companies going around every year and needed this. I reckon. I think companies will be when they really understand what this does. Yeah. Like with iMove, it'd be like such a no-brainer for them.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, man.
But the problem is, you may have they're stuck in their ways. They've been using one of their clunky systems for 20 years, and it'd be hard to move over.
We thought no one would move over because we thought it's going to be so much hard work to move systems.
Yeah.
And we can't believe how many people.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
that's one thing was really surprised with is that how many people have just shifted over from a different system. Yeah. So what we do now, we always try and put ourselves out of business because we don't want anyone else to. You know what I mean? So we just keep innovating, don't we?
Keep innovating.
We need to elaborate on that. Put ourselves out of business.
So if you have the mindset, so if you're happy and you get stagnant, you're happy where you are in the business. Someone might come and take you out, and it's too late.
Okay.
But if you have the attitude of if you try to put yourself out of business by creating and being innovative all the time, what someone else might do to take you out of business.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah,
then you're kind of competing with yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're competing with yourself. You're trying to better yourself than you were yesterday.
The caveat to that is that you spend a lot of
money, time and energy.
You spend a lot of money and energy, but
it seems streaks ahead already.
It is mental to see how many people are transitioning because we all know softwares are sticky platforms. Once you're in, you're in. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to get out. But yesterday I did a Zoom call with a company that's moving across from a system. They've got 450 storage crates. Yeah. And they're like, what's the process? How can we do this? And I'm like, wow. Just for them thinking to move across is crazy.
I think this day and age, you can just upload and download most of it, can't you?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, CSV, isn't it?
Yeah. And then by the time the client comes through, then you just keep rolling with it.
But the big thing for us is we're not hungry for, I probably shouldn't say it like this, but we're not hungry for the subscription straight away. If it's going to take you 2 months to move over, it's fine.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it.
Yeah. We're not like
the system will sell itself. You don't need to ram it down.
Of course. We just put ourselves out there like we do the podcast, and we just try and provide as much value to our users. You know what I mean? Like our WhatsApp group is so valuable of people like swapping jobs and
that's cool.
Vice versa.
And you said you got people in Australia using this.
We've done Zoom calls in Australia.
We've come one sticking point with Australia. So an Australian company trial it at the minute, but they do the stop-start job. They like hourly rate
rather than the set rate.
So I think if we had that, was does a Zoom call, so you'll probably give like a better.
But there's so much apart from that. There's so much else to do with this, like with all the all the AI and all the automation, and there's so much else. Surely they could get around that and.
With us, it's just time and development. So we listen to our users' feedback, and we use our ClickUp to organise our like features. ClickUp's just like another software, like a to-do list, and the list is about that. And and me and Woz thought, like it'd be great when that list gets down, but it just gets bigger.
It doesn't go
because
down,
you do something, and then you go down another avenue, and then it never ends, does it?
I know. Tell me about it.
Yeah, that is the thing. So. We know that we could suit Australia. We know that.
Yeah.
But it's time for us because we've got a development priority list that we can't really interrupt because there's 20 companies waiting for a certain part, which is going to come in the next couple of weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For us to pump out the Australian version, we're going to need to go from here to here, which interrupts here.
Yeah.
So we're playing with that at the moment, aren't we? We'd love everything tomorrow, but it's not that easy.
Yeah, and the more subscribers they get, obviously, with the more we can spend, and the quicker we can do stuff. So it's just time and speed.
And is there certain areas of the UK that are using this more than other areas of the UK for your new subscribers?
It's a good question. No, they're all over, aren't they?
No, they're all over the UK.
Yeah, London.
It's got a few from London. Yeah, a few from London, Scotland.
Yeah,
all over.
Northern.
Really.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. Yeah, I don't actually know where they're all based.
The other day we got our first South African.
Really?
Yeah. South African, and we done a bit of development for them. We put what is it, ZAR?
Yeah.
Is it ZAR
yeah,
currency?
Their currency, yeah.
So we put their currency in.
So we spent a bit of money on this one company.
Yeah.
Just to add their currency in the hope that another company might use us.
Yeah.
That being said, we got another South African inquiry a couple of days later. Didn't we? So
Yeah.
hopefully that word
What's
of mouth
it? It's a
passes
big
out.
market out there, South Africa. That's a silly question.
You know what?
Probably
Honestly,
everywhere
I'm not
is.
sure.
We don't
I'm not
know.
sure.
We don't like. I looked on Instagram for South African companies. There's not that many. To be fair, on Instagram. But yeah, I don't really know. It's random. I started a bit of Google Ads. Maybe they found us through that.
Any in Europe, like continent?
Yeah. We got a few in Spain.
One in Portugal.
Far out. Imagine where you'll be in 5 years.
Yeah, you just never know, do you?
Like, it's spreading in these little. That's incredible.
Yeah, we say that.
We're just taking it day by day. It's exciting, isn't it, really?
Yeah, and speaking about growth, I know we've elaborated on the interesting quote facts, but I'll do my fact. My fact is, in fact, it's a question. So, how many applications did Google have last year?
Separate apps?
Like apps?
No. Sorry, applications is in recruitment to get a job because obviously
to get a job.
To get a job. So how many job applications did they receive?
Oh, did Google the company receive to work for Google?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say 10 million applications.
10 million. Wow.
In 1 year.
Yeah, 10 million. Yeah.
16,000.
16,000. So we got 10 million and we got 16,000. 2 million.
Okay.
2 million job applications, which is the most in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is probably the most. I suppose it's the most.
Because for one job, like they may not have all their jobs. For one job, you'll have bloody 200,000 people apply for it, probably.
Yeah. And I suppose it's all developers, isn't it? That must apply. And I suppose you'll get people of that. But yeah, how many staff do you reckon they have?
Do you know this? I was about to ask.
Of course I do.
Do you know how many staff have Google got?
Me and ChatGPT.
This is a great question. How many staff have Google got? And they're in every country. Literally every country they'll be in, won't they?
I would say 10,000.
10,000 staff?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with my 16,000 again.
Okay. So you got about 2 million applicants last year to try and get a job. 185,000 staff they've got.
Oh, right, okay.
Which I thought was mental for an online company. But you got to remember Google. You know what I mean? I wonder how many Ask Jeeves has got. I wonder how Jeeves is doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you remember Ask Jeeves?
Yeah.
I wonder how he's doing.
He's gone. He's derelict.
I think ChatGPT.
Do you find like if you ask a question, you'll just go to ChatGPT?
I do now.
I don't go on Google.
I was the other day. I was trying to find out the opening time of Waterstones in St Albans on a Sunday because I was walking up. I thought, should I go there? I put it in Google, and all these bloody paid ads came up and these blogs. I'm like, I just want to know the opening time. So I put in ChatGPT, and it's beautifully articulated. On today, 100%. The 25th of April, Waterstones is open at 10 a.m. It's just so much easier.
I actually think Google need to change their model to ChatGPT.
Yeah, I don't use Google at all.
Honestly, I can't even remember the last time I asked Google a question.
Yeah. Why would you? And it just the speed in which it happens as well. Like when I see a really cool website, I'll ask it what their tech stack is and what the software is built on, and it will bring it out, and then it will say, do you want me to create this tech stack for you with some code and all this kind of? I'm like, yes, please, and do this. So.
And when I was on ChatGPT, know a little bit about coding since ChatGPT because it teaches
so much.
Yeah. And I said to our developers, I was like, obviously we can get it way cheaper, way quicker now, and it was like, no, don't work like it's not quite there apparently for development.
Says them.
Yeah, it's not. Which says them. Yeah.
Exactly. I bet they're using it.
But I did try it. I create an email HTML for iMove template, and you copy the code into iMove. Users can do this. You copy the template code into iMove, and it gives you one. And it automatically gives you a nice email template. But then you have to tweak it, and then you spend more time tweaking it and stuff than you.
Yeah, because you haven't.
But the best thing,
the
best thing about it is at least you're more informed. So when you're speaking to your developers, you're not completely blind.
Yeah,
because you may not be able to get it perfectly yourself and still need them, but you can put it in, and then you can inform your questions.
Yeah,
that's what I find really helpful, even for things like tax and things like. because it's otherwise it's just you and the accountant. But like I always try and work out employer NI thresholds and forecasting for that, and just questions about corp tax and VAT and employment law, which I put in now, and it just spits it out.
It's unreal.
And then you just go back and do a bit of fact checking yourself. But for that, because previously it was just my accountant and I'm like, this is driving me mad. Like, it solves a lot.
Even on the way here to ask the Google questions,
I
just clicked, and you can speak into it. So you speak into it and I says, give me an interesting quote or fact related to recruitment. And then it spitted out one. And then I was like, do a big company because people know the big company. And it told me that Google fact.
So good. It's so good. I'm now starting to use it for like cost saving stuff. Like I've just thought about it randomly. I was like, we get through loads of Coke Zeros in our house.
Okay.
That's how I
I used to be addicted to that.
You know what I mean? So I just searched where's the cheapest place in the UK to buy Coke Zero online, and it gave me 3 websites and the cheapest site, and I was like, no way, like this has literally just saved me money. Because otherwise you'd go to the supermarket. So I just ordered it online. A couple of days later it was here. Yeah. And I paid like 20p per can.
Yeah,
20p per can.
Yeah,
I was just about to say times hard, bro. But 20p per can, that's great.
Yeah, but I ordered 130 cans.
You probably think that's the thing with that. You end up spending more. They go out of date, and you end up losing in the long term.
Coke doesn't go out of date.
And the good thing is, there's no advertising on there, is there? You don't have to be bombarded with ads or anything. I don't know if they'll change that.
Hopefully not. Yeah, good point. That is.
It's just so nice and clear. Where you go on Google, it's just everything is just paid advertising and pop-ups.
Their interface is so clean.
It's beautiful.
Isn't it? Yeah.
It's just, I think it's the best thing ever. Like I've only got onto it this year. I never used it before this year. It's in January, and it's just changed the game. I use it probably 20 times a day now.
So do I.
Literally, you see all my chat and there's all these random things I ask for. Like
even like logo. When we create, I set up the iMove users. And I get their logos off like the website and stuff to make their profile look exactly like their website kind of thing. And a lot of them, the logo they've uploaded is very like pixelated. And I put it into ChatGPT and make this logo the best quality, and it give me the logo the best quality.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'll upload it. It's just like things like that. It's just
there's
instant.
a guy on Instagram. I don't know if you've come across him, but it's probably because it's my algorithm and I'm into my garden and stuff. But there's a guy that's like on day 15 or day 16 of creating a garden that ChatGPT has designed for him.
Okay.
And it is such a good little series. Like every day he's dropping a new one, and he's just creating a ChatGPT garden. And I'm so excited about the end product. Honestly.
No, it's good.
Who's that? You know?
His name's Grant something. I can't actually remember off the top of my head. But I'll show you after, because the way he narrates it and he talks about it is phenomenal. It's such a good little watch.
That's cool.
It's a storyline, and now
it's a good storyline,
isn't it? Yeah. So how's what's the future hold for Dingo Recruitment?
Oh, I think we're at the end of the day we're a boring business, and I love boring businesses. Yeah. I just want to stay boring. I just want to like if people talk about I want to be a unicorn and do that, we just want to be the sort of terminology they use now is being a camel. The camels can go through the desert for days and without water, and they just, ugly animals and, just scrap, and they just unkillable, really. We want to be that. We want to be just like boring, do things right, sleep at night, own our mistakes. And, we really enjoy it. At the end of the day, it's a hard job, but it's very rewarding getting people work. I love that. We get people work every day, and it's, never lost on me how much that means to a lot of people, and it means a lot to us. We just want to keep things simple. We're not really trying to change the world.
I like that. And plus, I'll tell you a tiny little story about when I used to work for a recruitment agency. Okay. So I didn't work, I was like a staff member that they would sub out kind of thing. And I think about this a lot because I hate myself because of what I did kind of thing. But this is a company that obviously gave staff to loads of different industries. Yeah. And I went in and I was like, I really want a driving job. I'd love a driving job. I'd not long passed my test, so a couple of years. And their master salesman on the phone. And he rang me up. He's like, Warren, I've got a driving job. You're going to absolutely love this job. And he really bigged it up, and I was buzzing for it. And the day after, I went there, got to this place, and I turned up and I was like, what am I doing? And it was a convoy vehicle. So there's temporary traffic lights here, temporary traffic lights 20 metres up the road. And for the whole day, I had to do 5 miles an hour and let the tail of cars drive behind me, get to the end, turn, 5 mile an hour.
That's crazy.
Mate, at lunchtime, I just went home.
Did you?
And then the recruitment guy went nuts.
Yeah.
He rang me up and went nuts because I let that company down, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now looking back, I was a bit...
It's bad, isn't it? But you don't realise that at the time. You just
Mate, that was an awful job, that was. Literally.
Yeah, that's not right to do that, to do that to you.
Yeah, and not only that, but I was by myself. You couldn't listen to any music. I had a guy on a walkie-talkie that was like telling me how fast I'm going. So the only person I was talking to was a guy saying, "You're going 7 miles an hour. Go back down to 5 miles an hour."
Was that the worst job you've ever had, or something else that was worse than that?
That was definitely the worst job I've ever had.
What's the worst job you've ever had?
So I used to work down drains, installing ISCOs and flow meters to measure the flow of the rainfall. So we used to put waders on, open the drains, go down, drill into the drain wall. And fit these ISCO components, and come back
Flow
up.
monitors, yeah.
Yeah,
I worked there as well, yeah.
And
the dirty job.
It's down drains. So you're down drains all day, and the best part of the job was when you was down the drain. And the housewives were doing their washing. It smelled great.
Oh, really?
It smelled beautiful. And you're like, oh, that smells nice. And then when it don't, it just smells of.
Well, there's river water drains. There's a few different drain systems, and so there's rainwater drains, which is just normal water, and then you've got sewage, which is like toilets and sinks and baths and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, you worked on it together, were you?
I was in it as well. Yeah, you got me the job, didn't you?
Oh, right.
I did. I might have. Yeah, I got a few people the job there.
Yeah.
I was buzzing. It was salary, and it was my first salary job, and it was 21k a year, and I was like, wow, I'm on salary. I've made it, and then it's just you grow up, don't you?
You've known each other for ages by the sound.
Yeah, 22, 24 years. But I remember this job. I just want to talk about this because it's quite relatable to Australia. I am terrified of spiders.
Okay.
Really, even the little baby ones. I'm just scared of them. But I remember on the training when it come to the sewers, in the training modules, the day of training or whatever, they were don't be surprised if you come across a tarantula because people have tarantulas as pets. Oh. And the best way to get rid of them is to flush them down the loo.
When they do that, they purposely flush them down. Yeah. Well, they get them as a pet and they flush them in the toilet.
If they don't want a tarantula anymore, the easiest way is to get rid of them rather than letting them in the garden.
Tarantulas are massive.
Yeah. So in my head, every drain I went down, I was looking for tarantulas.
I can't even remember watching that CBT video. Yeah, no.
Can't you? No. But that was the one thing that stuck in my head.
Because you're probably scared of it.
They're massive. Have you seen one that's sort of not in the drains?
No, never
huge,
seen one in the drains.
And they're just so fast, and they creep up on you like this big thing.
Yeah, like in Australia.
They're crazy.
God. You get the huntsmen.
Yeah. And they're kind of similar, aren't they? Yeah.
They're just in your house.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, they're just weird places. I remember I was at mates was swimming in his backyard pool once, and I went. We were all drinking, and just went to the toilet, a little cubicle outdoor toilet, and I was just in my swimmers and stuff, and then there was don't know. I think I went to blow my nose. I just went to put my hand in a toilet roll, and it was in there, and it ran up my hand all over my body. I had no shirt on, and it was just scared the absolute hell out of me.
I would have died.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Big?
It was
really
huge,
big. Was it
huge?
So would they kill you then?
No, I don't think they kill you. No, it's very rare. But just the shock factor, the trauma is enough.
Yeah.
So you want to die half.
Yeah. Where are you from in Australia?
Melbourne,
yeah. That's actually one we don't name. Do you know
really?
That? Yeah.
That's crazy.
We don't name Melbourne, yeah. That's another interesting quote fact, yeah. And I've always wanted to go there.
Do you know what's the reason for the middle?
Passed down generations.
Yeah,
I think my old man was called Robert Melbourne Sinclair.
Okay,
my granddad was called and they're Scottish, so I don't know where the Melbourne bit came from, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, have you got a question from the last guest?
No, I haven't, unfortunately. Sorry, but I'll think of a question.
Have you? How many? Google. You know, we asked that question about Google.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many applicants you had or recruitment? How many people you put on jobs?
That's a really bloody good question. We would have that, but I don't have it to hand.
Yeah. Sorry, put you on the spot.
A lot.
Is it a lot?
Yeah, a lot. And that's the thing. When we send someone, we get rid of a lot of people before they ever arrive at your door.
Yeah.
which we're quite good at doing. And it's just we're pretty good at doing that, in a respectful way.
Of course, yeah.
And we always suggest another company or do this or do that, But yeah, we can tell fairly early on if they're going to cut it here. Yeah. So we keep our crew fairly small.
Yeah, sounds amazing. Yeah, you've got a great business there.
Oh, thank you very much.
Obviously, the majority of people that watch these and listen to these are removal companies.
Yeah.
Quite a few people probably would get in touch with you. Are you only looking for London at the minute, or are you going to
London's anywhere, Scotland, but Birmingham or Manchester. They're just two ones that have just always we're so close, but just need someone. I think there's two types of clients for us. There's the clients that either get in contact with us, or we get in contact with them, and they just grill us. I know you got to do your due diligence and stuff, but we're almost guilty before proven innocent, rather than the other way around. And they just say, your guys are going to show up. Are they trained? Do they do this? Blah, blah, blah. And we just know it's never going to work. They're just going to wait for something to go wrong. And then there's the other half that are just they see us as an ally. They see us as a partner, and we just ride the bumps as we go. And we're fortunate to get a lot of those clients very early on who are still with us 8 years. Yeah. But those other ones, they just want something. I feel like they want something to go wrong so they can complain. Or maybe I'm seeing that differently. If you see us,
the nature of humans, isn't it?
Exactly,
sometimes?
They're the most unpredictable commodity on earth, human beings, and that's what we deal with. But if a company sees us and they see us, we can just tap into them even several times a year. Great, we're always going to be here for that. Yeah. But if you're going to just sulk and complain, and we don't do that to you either, then move on, go away.
I mean, for me, if I owned a removal business, it's good to have yourself in the as a back burner. Do you know what I mean? I'm surprised you've never used recruitment.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's probably because now I've met you, I'd use you tomorrow.
Oh, thanks.
I promise you that. It's just one of those things, and I think that's what you get quite a lot of value from people watching this today. I'm all on trust, and I like company culture. I want to send my own staff out, but now I've spoken to you. Yeah. And I'd have full trust in my golden egg. Then I'd use you no problem.
But like what you were saying earlier, and thank you for that. How you had that horrible experience with a recruitment company. Yeah. A lot of people who've used recruitment companies have had also a horrible experience. Just like when some people have a bad experience with a removal firm, like not a bona fide removal company or whatever. And then they say all removal companies are shit. It's not fair to compare you to one of these other companies.
Yeah, of course.
And it's sort of not fair to compare us to other agencies that may have had a bad experience from. We just do removals. We love it. We breathe it. Yeah. And we do the right thing by people.
And what's quite good as well is sometimes in this business, you can have somebody that we employ, and then after 2 weeks, their true colours come out. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But then all of a sudden they're stuck, and it's quite tricky to get rid of them then, and then you end up relying on them all the time, and then you get staff complaining.
Just simply say to us, we don't want to see that guy anymore. For that. That's how it is. You don't have to deal with them. You don't have to market for the jobs. You don't have to do all the onboarding, the contracts. You don't have to get them signed up on your payroll. You have to log. We make it real simple because we know how busy you guys are.
Yeah, no, I like it. You need to come over to this area, the West Midlands.
Yeah. I'd love to, yeah.
I can obviously help you with that as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and our members, we've got a few West Midlands companies as well.
And Manchester, but the places you want to get to.
Manchester, that's our next one, and then we'd be happy, But no, it's been good, and I'm really, really grateful for you guys to have me here today.
You've been grateful. Been a great guest, mate. Yeah. It's a pleasure.
First podcast in the new room, and first person Australian.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
First Australian, It's nice to have a different accent on the poddy.
No, it's been real.
So we'll wrap it up now. So where can people find you if they want to use your company?
It's dingorecruitment.com.
Dingo Recruitment.
Yeah, I love the name, by the way.
Absolutely lovely, isn't it?
Dingorecruitment.com, or just get me on LinkedIn, David Field.
David Field.
And we need to get you on socials. Need to get all over socials.
We do. I've got to get better at that. But this has helped today, I think. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Pleasure.
Thanks very much. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for it.